apologize if that thumbnail shocked your sensibilities. I was sitting at my desk, about to go grocery shopping. I'm making soup. When I was listening to music, did you see the AirPods in the thumbnail? And I was just, really having a good time. I was having a blast. I love listening to music. And started taking selfies, as one does when you are feeling yourself listening to music. And someone said, as the primary actor in your one film videos, you need to vary your facial expressions apart from just eye rolls. I said, bitch, I am not fucking acting. This is me. This is me. Take it or leave it. The eye rolls aren't intentional. They're reflexive. But yeah, I took a few selfies and then I was like, normally when I take selfies, I'm doing it for a video. I'm not actually that vain. Like for a video thumbnail. And then I was thinking, I was like, what could I film right now? Because I felt a bit chatty. I didn't want to do anything. I have lots to do on my to-do list. This video was not on it. And I was like, oh, I could just answer some questions. So that's what this video is. It is me. It's called a book tag. And if you don't know what that is, I didn't either until I started creating content on YouTube. So just ignore that. I changed the title to clickbait you into clicking on it. But it's just where I answer questions about books. Book-ish things. Book-related books. Is my head too low in the frame? Sometimes, I don't know. The only reason I bought the $1,000 camera that I have or whatever is so that it has a screen next to it and I can see myself in it. Just, I have to know the frame. Otherwise I would be filming videos being like, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. I'm Charles. The thumbnail was probably particularly shocking to my audience made up of prudes and apes. But yeah, I don't know. I got the camera so that I could see myself in the screen and I don't utilize it at all. I put the camera in one place and I just talk at it. But I think I'm too low. I don't like. What can you do? I try and sit up straight. What's on the agenda? I'm answering questions about books. My sexy creator friend Kiran at Kiran Reader said I should do this, so here I am doing it. It's as simple as that. The structure of this video is 26 questions, I think. How many letters of the alphabet are there? There's a question for each of the letters in the alphabet. And it's like, is this hot or is it not? You'll see. We're getting into it. We're kicking it off. We're kicking it off with a hot take. Audiobooks. It's me checking you out, baby. You look gorgeous. Audiobooks. A very divisive book community take. And you want to know what I think? A, audiobooks, not hot. I think not hot. I'm not for them. I'm not for them. I've done quite a few audiobooks this year, and that's come with being a creator. I feel more pressure to finish a book, and if I don't like it, normally I don't. In my IRL, I don't finish the book, but I want to give books a little more of a chance, so I finish them on audiobook if I'm talking about them for a video usually, and I don't like an audiobook. I am a disciple of multimedia. I kind of like that. I consume a lot of different media. I love music. I love books. I like a good TV show. I like a good movie. I love podcasts. And I love silence. And between all of those, there's not much room for audiobooks. There really isn't. Like every time I start listening to an audiobook, I don't read along with the book anymore, because then it's some sort of interference. I feel like it might be counterintuitive, but because I'm like following along while someone's speaking in my ear, it's playing like I Spy. It's like the word goes in my ear and then I spot it on the page. So what I've been doing is just like laying in bed like a stick. Because if I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm going to be paying attention to it. I'm not just listening to it. I'm like consuming it in the same way that I would consume a book, which is to say that it just takes up time and concentration. I don't listen to audiobooks while I'm doing other things, because usually I zone out and then what's the point? I do something else. Audiobooks. What usually ends up happening is I'll stop reading the book, because when I get frustrated with the book, it starts taking me forever to read the book, unless I like really have to, and then I'll just buckle down and suck it up. But unless that happens, and that hasn't happened since I've had to read like books for high school, it takes me forever. I'll pick it up, read a paragraph, and be like, because I have issues. Then I really just do the audiobook to keep pace so that I'm not like skizzing out. Let me turn my heater off. So no, I hate audiobooks. I don't want them. I don't want them. Either the book is good enough to read, or it's not. I would rather be listening to podcasts, like first and foremost. Same format. I'm kicking audiobooks to the curb. I'm sorry. 2024, the year of no audiobooks. I'm not an audiobook guy. If you are, more damn power to you. But because I love a good podcast, audiobooks just not my thing. The issue for me is that audiobooks are a replacement for reading the actual books. Like that, they're not a primary media for me. I don't treat them like that. I treat them as like we're getting the job done, which is why I don't like them. If you treat audiobooks as a primary source, if you enjoy them, good for you. I go back and forth. In a month, I'll probably be like, audiobooks. We're 10 minutes in, only on the first letter of the alphabet. We're gonna have to cut some of this footage. Next! Oh! Bildungsroman. A Bildungsroman is a coming-of-age tale, as far as I know. And I hate them. Usually my issue with a coming-of-age tale is that authors treat the kid like they're complete dipshits. And it's like, you were a kid once too. You know? A little meta moment. I don't know what meta means, but it feels right. What I often think about is that we're all trusting kids. We're all trusting 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, because our memories are comprised of us at those points. So aren't we trusting 5-year-olds? So why are we treating 5-year-olds like dipshits? You know? That wasn't very eloquent. What can you do? But I generally don't like a coming-of-age tale. And usually the characters are a little bit insufferable. C. Children's books. Yes. Hot, hot, hot. I don't know if I've said this on my channel yet, but I'm going to have a return to children's books. This has been stirring in my mind's eye for a couple years now, or since whenever Anne Patchett's essay collection, These Precious Days, came out. One of the essays is dedicated about Kate DiCamillo. She wrote A Tale of Death. No, she didn't. Did she write A Tale of Despero? The Tale of Despero? She writes kids' books because of Winn-Dixie. And ever since then, I've been like, I think kids' books might be it. Because in the essay, Anne Patchett talked about how she dismissed them and she was like, whatever, but then realized that kids' books really can be worthwhile for adults. And so since then, I've really been like, yeah, I need to have a children's book phase that includes Kate, Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Gulliver's something, Alice in Wonderland, and fairy tales. I want to get to the point where I'm only reading kids' books and Nietzsche. D. Digital. My interpretation of this is like a Kindle. Not hot. It's too utilitarian to be hot. I have a Kindle. I bought a Nook when they first came out when I was youngin'. Thought it was the best thing ever, didn't use it. Don't really use my Kindle now unless I'm traveling. It's very utilitarian. It's not hot per se. So I'm going to say not hot, but it is nice if you're in bed with the like warm light. I don't know. I just haven't used it enough. And I never end up using it. As much as I like it in theory, I don't use it. So not hot. Oop. E, experimental. No. Not hot. Not hot. Not hot. The issue with experimental novels, writing, whatever, is that they usually come at the cost of entertainment or purpose or whatever. Experimental pieces don't get their point across because they're too caught up in being perceived as experimental. And also, I don't care if something's if art is experimental if it's not enjoyable. You can do both. F, fantasy, hot. I read pretty much exclusively fantasy growing up, like middle grade fantasy. Maybe that's not quite true, but a large portion, like Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, all of the Rick Riordan spin-offs. You know. But I think fantasy's hot, and I've been wanting to get back into it for a while now. And I don't really know where to start. I think someone recommended Jade City by Fonda Lee, and I checked that out from the library. It's sitting in my car as we speak. But I haven't picked it up. I'm reading The Fellowship of the Ring for the third time. I've never finished it. But I'm powering through. I'm listening to the audiobook at that point. At this point. We'll talk about it later. I don't know. I think fantasy could be really fun. I feel a lot of fatigue in advance of sorting through fantasy that I might or might not like. Oh, I love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is fantasy. Someone recommended, it feels like a medieval trilogy, but I bought the first book. It's sitting back there. And I read the first page and I really enjoyed it, but I was like, I have to finish a few books before I get to that because I'm in the middle of about 10 books. That's all. I mean, if you have a sexy fantasy, I don't care for beautiful writing, but I just don't want it to be cringe. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Give me Rex like a Game of Thrones. Ray Bradbury isn't fantasy. Not on my sci-fi grind quite yet. Have you read Ted Chiang? People have recommended that to me. But I don't know. Fantasy. I'm going to try Jade City. And the book someone else recommended me. I love my fans. I listen to you. G. Graphic novel. Hot. Not that I read any. I've read one graphic novel series in my entire life, and that was in middle school. It was the Amulet series. I was like, this is so cool. And I read Mouse. Oop. A little bit of a downer. It's a Holocaust book for mice. But hot. The answer is hot. I think graphic novels are hot, and I would love to have a henty phase. H. Horror. Hot. I've been looking for a horror book this entire fall, and I got so tired after I picked up 2, the other by Thomas Tryon, which is just goddamn boring, and I'm struggling to finish on audiobook, and I think I'm just going to take my bookmark out and call it a day, but apparently there's a crazy plot twist, but I'm just bored. I also picked up The Auctioneer by Joan Samson, I want to say, maybe a month or 2 ago from the library, because I saw it on a Barnes & Noble stand. And it was blurbed on the New York Times as unputdownable after like the first page. And I read 50 pages. And it was putdownable, every single one of them. It was so boring. How can you call something a horror novel and be that boring? So answer is hot, but I can't find one I like. Someone recommended Doris Lessing's Descent into Hell or something, and I've been looking for it at every bookstore I've gone to since they recommended it. And nowhere has it. Not Barnes & Noble, not used ones, but I'm holding out hope. I'm trying not to buy too much on Amazon, just because as soon as I buy a book on Amazon, it ends up showing up at a thrift store that I frequent. Literally today, I found a book that I bought on Amazon and was in my book haul, and I was like, horror. Oh yeah, Descent into Hell by Doris Lessing, and I don't know. I'm more of a mystery wing horror than a horror. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just don't have much experience. If you feel so inclined, leave me a rec. Oh my god, I also want to try someone... Another one of my fans recommended The Wasp Factory. Pretty sure it's a very famous book. But that entices me. But it was $18 at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I know there's a copy at Goodwill somewhere, so I'm waiting. Inspirational. Not hot. I think that fiction has a lot more to teach us than nonfiction. Plot twist. I think that novels are inspiring. I think that music is inspiring. I think that movies are inspiring. The function of fiction can be inspirational, but the form should not be. The form should not be. So not hot. But I love being inspired. I'm a sucker for being inspired, but form should not be meeting function when it comes to inspiration. J, journalism. Hot, hot, hot. I've been wanting to have a major journalism rephase for a minute. I love In Cold Blood, Truman Capote. It's been years since I read it, so who knows how it would hold up today, but I remember really enjoying it. And I don't know if that's because the book was good or because I was very, very moved by the deaths. I've said this before. I swear I say it in every video at this point, but I'm very easily moved by humanity, by hurt. Cut all that. Let's not kill the vibe. Journalism. But I've read In Cold Blood, Truman Capote, and I really enjoyed it. I've also read Bad Blood. Lots of blood. I didn't even realize that. By John Carreyrou. It's about Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes. And it was really good. I think the content exciting and the format of the book was very, very clever. Like at one point, it goes, he's reporting on it, and then at one point he becomes involved with the whole situation. I love Elizabeth Holmes. She got sentenced to prison, convicted, whatever. There are two phases. She got convicted and then sentenced. And before she was sentenced or something, cut all of that. Elizabeth Holmes was going to go to prison, but then she found a rich California boy, heir to some hotel, whatever, 20 years her junior or something, got impregnated, had a baby, a beautiful baby, played the mother bit at court, didn't work out, she was still sentenced. I think she's pregnant with her second in prison. Anyway, I think journalism's really cool, and I don't know... Oh, I just bought a book on cocaine. Oh, Kitsch. I don't know what Kitsch is. That's a lie. I've been buying Kitsch books. I have been buying Kitsch books. Nothing more to say on that. L, library. Oh, like checking books out from the library. Hot. I'm tired of buying books and then not liking them. I'm so tired of it. I need to either read a page in the bookstore. I usually know if I'm gonna like a book from the first page because I'm very dependent on voice. And so I need to either check a book out from the library or read a book in the bookstore. Read a book in the bookstore, not the whole thing. M, mystery. Hot, hot, hot. Agatha Christie was one of my first loves. Dan Brown, another first love. Read all of his books in middle school, except whatever hadn't come out, which I think was just Origin at that point. And nonfiction. Hot. I haven't really been on my nonfiction grind, but nonfiction made up the bulk of my reading life years ago. I don't know. I think I'm going to have a major swing back to nonfiction pretty soon. I'm just trying to wrap up all the novels that I'm in the middle of. Oh, Omnibus. That's like, I think it's multiple books in one, maybe. I don't think it's a compilation. It's not like a reader. You know, where it's like a blank reader? Mm-mm. Who knows? But today I was at a used bookstore and there was an omnibus. I'm probably using the word wrong. Oops. But it was Agatha Christie's first and last Hercule Poirot. Did I get that, guys? Novels. Is that an omnibus? But it was 2 books in one. P. Poetry. Not hot. Q. Quests. I love Shrek. Hot. R. Romance. Hot. S. Science fiction. Not hot. Not hot. Not hot. Not on my science fiction grind. Rest in peace, Ray Bradbury. What's good science fiction? T. Translation. Not hot. I only read American literature. Ooh. Übermensch. The Superman or the extraordinary human? Characters who can... like Superman. I don't know. I don't know. V. V. Victorian. Not hot. I'm not on my Victorian grind. I recently finished Wuthering Heights and I was like, okay, cool. Should I make a video about it? I was thinking about it, but I don't, like whenever I think about making a negative video, it becomes really oppressive. Like a dark cloud looming over my head. I don't love being negative. Unless I have to. Then I will be. Hate Jane Austen. Wuthering Heights was such a letdown. I was like, the fuck? The fuck? No. Hate that period of literature. I hate... Yeah. Except I do like Forster. Is that Victorian? Who knows? W. Western. Not hot. Save a cowboy. Ride a horse. X. X-rated. Hot. 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 Oof. Y. Young adult. Not hot. Not hot. Not hot. Listen, I've never been a young adult kid. Never. Never, ever, ever. I grew up on middle grade, and I went pretty much straight from middle grade to like Dan Brown and then whatever non-fiction and fiction that I'm kind of in now. YA was never for me. I had friends who read like 13 Reasons Why, John Green, Eleanor and Park, like that sort of grind. They were on their YA grind. I've never been on my YA grind, unless you count like The Hunger Games and Divergent, so not for me. Not for me. It's like all the cringe of smut without any of the good bits. Oh my god, last letter, Z, Zeitgeist. Not hot. Not hot at all. Zeitgeist is like what's current. What's in the air. Now. Hate, hate, hate. I've read a few hyped up books. I read like 3 in 2021. Think of a hyped book from that 2022. Oops. Maybe they were put out in 2021, but they were big books in 2022. Very hyped up. Everyone who talks about them loves them, and I hate them. I really, really hate them. I think they're terrible books, and I hate them. That really crushed it for me. And then this year I read a couple hyped up books, and I was like, I didn't even talk about it on the channel because I'm not about that life. I just wanted to see what was happening. But the answer is no, not hot. Zeitgeist, not hot. I'm gonna have to put like a 20-year limit on all books that I read just to make sure that the dust is settled. That the Zeitgeist is not shite. That just about wraps it up. I'm surprised I haven't been filming for like 6 hours, which is usually how these videos go, and then I lay in bed very morose. Very down. Why did I talk so much, Charles? Why did you talk so much? Why couldn't you just shut the bleep up and edit it? But looks like we've only been filming for a minute, so I still have time to get groceries. You want to come? You can't, you stupid bitch. That's all for this video. Hi, I hope you enjoyed this impromptu chat. I love seeing you here. I feel deceitful telling you this because I post whenever I feel like filming a video and whenever I feel like editing and posting it, but I'll see you soon. Bye.